Say hi. Hi. Say hello. Hello. Hello, everybody. So I wanted to film the birth vlog. This video will be more than likely a photo montage. So when I went into the hospital, I was scheduled to be induced. I was 38 weeks and 1 day when I went in on a Wednesday night, October 24th. I think at midnight. They did the first round of Mizol, and that got my contractions going the first time. They weren't super strong, but they came on very frequently. Eventually I realized I'm not getting the second dose. My contractions, they didn't get closer, they were just getting stronger. So I had morphine as my first dose of pain medicine, and that did help a lot. I was thinking if I could do this with just morphine, that would be great. I had the best night nurse you could possibly have. I was her only patient that night. She knew what I needed before I even asked. My night nurse was amazing. Now, my first day nurse was not that spectacular. She was really slow at things. There was one situation where I needed to go to the bathroom. So my day nurse helped me get out of bed, walked me to the bathroom, got called away, and then never came back. 5 minutes passed, she still hadn't come back. So my boyfriend and my mom actually walked me back to the bed, and we figured out how to hook up the monitors and the blood pressure thing. And then my nurse comes back in an hour later or so. And I go, I went to the bathroom and you got called away. Thank goodness my family was here, trying to be like, you forgot to come back. Nothing. Just, oh, okay, that's good. And I'm okay if she falls asleep right now, that's totally fine. And then I started really feeling my contractions get a lot stronger. So I wanted my next dose of morphine, and she took forever to get it. It never came. That's how long it took. And they go, okay, well, we need to check you, and also we want to give you your next dose of Mizol. You need to wait 2 more hours before your morphine. So like, okay, can I get the morphine before the Mizol? And she was like, yes. And then she took like 45 minutes to come back, and they checked me to see about the dose of Mizol, and I was at 4.5, almost 5. And my day nurse was taking way too long to get my medicines. She's asleep. Little baby's asleep. So it got to the point where we realized, okay, I'm not having this next dose of Mizol. What do I want to do for pain management, for birth? It took her 45 minutes to come back, and she still didn't have the morphine. And I was like, I changed my mind. I don't want morphine. Can I have the epidural? Because a different nurse came in and checked me like randomly. And she was like, oh, you're like 5.5. You're almost 6. And at some point, my OB came in as well. Like, okay, take your last shower before you have your kid. This is about to happen. I'll be back at 3 o'clock for your baby. My OB was like, where's your nurse so that she can help you? And I was like, I don't know where my nurse is. I call for her, she don't come. And my OB walks out the room, and I hear her go, nurse, where's my nurse at? I need a new nurse. I was like, oh, okay. Oh, no, little baby. Oh, no, stay asleep. Oh. I actually ended up with 2 new nurses that stayed with me from the time I got my epidural till Lilian was born, which was the best 4 hours of my life. Let me tell you, they were amazing because one of them was in training, like she was my real nurse, I think. She's new to the hospital, like brand new to the hospital, but she had already been a L&D nurse for like 6 years or something. And the second nurse that was training her was a vet nurse. She had been at the hospital like, I don't know, 20 years or something. They knew, they were great set of nurses. One of them was always available. It was wonderful. Just breathe and everything would happen. It was great. It was amazing. They got my epidural. That part was really scary. I was like psyching myself out. So I was like, So my sister was there. She was one of my support people. And so my sister was very reassuring. What they did with the epidural, I just had my sister, she like, once she was in one spot, she had to stay there. And they positioned her before the anesthesiologist came in. I'm basically sitting up, crisscross applesauce, trying to lean over when I'm having these really painful contractions. And my sister's like, you have to do it. If you want to stop the pain, you have to sit still. There were times where she'd be like, Marissa, you just need to cry it out. Just let it out. And I would just break down. I would ugly cry. But she would let me cry, and then she'd be like, okay, get back on your horse. We gotta keep. So she's holding me and I'm holding her, just focusing on the breathing. And before I knew it, the epidural was over. It was like a sensation. But there is no pain. And before I know it, he's like, okay, you're done. Let me just tape this up your back so you don't, rub it out of you. They had me at like 10 milligram or 10 micrograms or something like that. They're like, do you want the button? I was like, no, let's just go with this. But they had to up my dosage of my epidural to 12, and that did the trick. By then, I like took a 45-minute nap. I was eating my ice chips like nobody's business. It was great. It was like 2:45, and I was like, where's my doctor? At this point too, we weren't sure if my waters had broken yet. The nurse was like, okay, well, let's check you, like you're probably not. So let's check though. Okay, cool. And she goes to check me. Okay, roll on your side, put your legs like this, like scissor them. I'm gonna go call and see if your doctor's here. She leaves, I was like, I was right, huh? My mom was like, yeah, you were. I was like, this baby's coming right freaking now, like right now. They're like, lay there, don't move, barely breathe. They're like, keep breathing, but don't push. Don't breathe too hard. Breathe, but not too hard. So my doctor, she ends up getting there at 3:15. The whole room is set up, and they're like, okay, no video recording. So then we have like my sister on my left, my boyfriend on my right. And then the nurses start, like one of them is on my left side by my sister, and they're like, oh, excuse me, I need to work right here. Could you step back? My sister's like, oh, okay, yeah, sure. Okay, your doctor's here. She's parking. It was 3 o'clock. Like, she needed to be parking 20 minutes ago. I'm ready for this baby to come out. Let's wait for your doctor. She's parking. She's going to scrub up. She'll be here. Okay. Okay, fine. I'll wait. If I have to. If I must. So she comes in. Hi, my dear. Sets her purse down in the corner. Walks to the other corner. So she comes out. She goes, all right, let's get your legs up. She's like, oh, my dear, are you ready to push? And I was like, yeah. She's like, okay, let me get my gloves on. Hold on. And I have my boyfriend on my right. And by this point, I have a nurse on my left, and she never left my side. Like, she asked my sister to step back so that she could work, and she never left my side. So my other sister was like pulling out the phone, taking pictures, recording, and I'm like looking at her like, you can't do that. Turn that off. She's like, nope, this is happening. It's right here. Say cheese. I was like, okay, all right, I need to be right here with my baby. And so it comes time for me to push. They're like, with your next contraction, can you feel them? I was like, nope. I was like smiling. I was like, am I gonna see my baby now? Like, can I push now? With my next contraction, my doctor, tells me when to push. She's like, okay, push now. So we do the thing, and I push. But take one breath. You push for 10 seconds. Another breath. Push for 10 seconds. Another breath, push for 10 seconds, and that was one contraction. I did my 3 pushes, and then I thought I was gonna have to push again. They're like, no, wait. And my boyfriend's here helping me. He's like breathing with me. While I'm pushing, he's like holding my head, and he's like right here, like face to face with me. He's like, you can do this, keep going. He's counting with me. So my doctor's like, push. Okay, wait. My doctor's like, look at my face mask, like see the reflection. Can you see your baby? And I see her, I was like, oh, I see her. Oh my gosh, like it was so wonderful. Like, I didn't know that I needed to like push again. Like, I thought she was here. I thought that was her. I saw the face. I thought that was it. My doctor's like, no, push again. I was like, oh, okay. And then so I pushed 3 more times. I pushed 1 time for 10 seconds. The second one, right as I start pushing, I feel like so the baby like came out. So I really didn't need to push the 3rd time, but I did. So my doctor actually like scoots off to the side with my baby. The cord is still in me. So this other lady, I don't know who she is. She comes in, and they start like wiping things up, and she like puts her hand there to, I don't know, help me clot or something. I don't know. I started bleeding out just a little bit. My baby wasn't breathing yet at this point. Let them get her breathing so I can hold her. At this point, my baby is breathing, and I think they have her like on my chest, and they're rubbing her, and she's like starting to cry. She's not like crying yet. She's actually like not breathing well. She has a lot of bubbles still coming out of her mouth. Like, she's like trying to breathe, and like I can hear the mucus and phlegm going back and forth in her throat. So I'm just like patting her back. We're all trying to rub her and stuff like that. And my OB goes, hey Marissa, look. So I look up, and my doctor's holding my placenta in the air. Like, look, isn't this cool? And I'm like, oh Lord, I don't want to see that. So it was actually cool to like see it, but I thought it was funny that my doctor made it a point to show me. It actually came out whole. They were stitching me up, and my sister took these lovely pictures of my area of my birth canal before and after, which are embarrassing pictures. I'm not showing anybody, but I think they're cool. But I wouldn't want to show anybody. They do take her at some point, like, okay, we need to clean her up and let's get her breathing better so that you can feed her. And I was like, okay, that's fine. So they take her and they get her crying, and I'm like, Lilian, Lily, and she like gets quiet. And so there was a time where they were like, can you stop talking so that she'll cry, because we need to like hear her cry. And then another time came where they were like, can you call her name please, like can you talk so that she will stop crying so that we can listen to her breathing. So yeah, she was born at 3:26. My doctor is like, are you good? You have your baby, you're happy? She's like, okay, I'll see you in 2 weeks. And I'm just in bliss with my baby. I'm holding her. And the second time that I get to hold her, right before I start feeding her, I'm like crying. I'm like, oh my baby, this is you. You're here. You're perfect. You're so little. I love you so much. Oh my gosh. You know, I'm like oohing and awing, and my boyfriend's like rubbing her eyebrow and her nose and her cheeks. And I'm like, okay, let's feed you, because she was on my chest, and she actually started like pushing herself up. She's like turning her head, like barely, but she's turning her head, like, and she did it herself. She got her head all the way from one side to the other, like by her. She did it all by herself. And I was like, dang, this baby is strong. And she actually starts wiggling her whole body, and she finds my breast, and then I like help her get onto the nipple, and I help her latch, and she's drinking for like 30 minutes straight. Like, she didn't stop. It was the best. After an hour and 45 minutes of holding her the second time, they did take her. They were like, okay, we need to take her and get her security band on her. And I was like, okay, like that's fine. So they take her. Some time passes, and I understand the maternity rooms were like all full. They're trying to get them cleaned up. But then it's like 6:30, and I'm still in the L&D room, and I'm waiting, and I'm like, okay, it's been like 4 hours. Can I feed my baby? I'm hungry myself too. They don't do food service down there. So I actually like missed dinner. I had some beef jerky. My boyfriend went to the gift shop and bought me candy. So appreciative, because it was the little bit of food I had. But I couldn't get food. Like, I was so hungry. I don't get to my room till like 9 o'clock. It's been 5 hours. I know my baby's hungry. Like, I don't even go 5 hours without eating. I know she's hungry. Like, can I please feed her? I didn't get my baby till like 11. My family's still there. They're waiting to like see her, because they didn't get to see her really. Yeah, I was just really upset with that. That really upset me. But I understand that the rooms were full, but like, dang, really? Ugh. It made me upset. Like, that's my birth story. I mean, once I got to my room, it was a relief to get to feed her. Like, it felt good to feed her. So that's my story. Overnight, the first night, it was my boyfriend. It was great. You know, we met with the lactation consultant. No latch was perfect. I was waiting every 3 hours to feed her, and she was a very sleepy baby, but nobody was concerned about her being sleepy or soothing too easy. And she wet and pooped her diapers, you know, perfectly. At 24 hours, her blood sugar was measuring 1 point below normal. So they held her overnight, and I stayed overnight. And we supplemented with formula just a little bit. I was distraught when they told me that. You know, like, I felt like a failure. I was like, I'm not feeding my baby enough. This isn't how I imagined it. So yeah, like, I was really hard on myself. But it was just a matter of just, you know, making sure that I was diligent about feeding her. Like, even though she was sleepy, I did need to wake her up. You know, don't let her sleep, you know, more than 2.5 hours really is what we did. The pediatric nurse was wonderful. She stayed up with me to help with feeding. And whenever I was like too anxious or too stressed out to hold my baby, she would hold her. That night, it was a Friday night. My boyfriend, he has 2 other kids, and it was his weekend to pick them up. He had to pick them up, and so he took them back to our apartment. I didn't get to spend that second night with him. One of my sisters came up and stayed the night with me. It was actually nice because she came from out of town. I wasn't sure if she was going to be able to see the baby that weekend, and so I was really happy that she, you know, like, without question, I was like, can you come please? And she was there right away. It was so wonderful. Like, thank you, sister. That second night, it made all the difference with her coming. But she's waking up. She's getting hungry, I can tell. Oh. So I'm gonna feed her. I have some packages I need to go ship today. But that's it. Thank you for listening to my story. That's kind of all the detail that I did want to go into. Sorry I'm not the most exciting storyteller. I'm still working on my storytelling skills. But yeah, I hope you'll have a great day. And I will see, I think I want to name this channel Mind of Marissa. And we'll call them mom videos. You get it? Isn't that kind of funny? So I will see y'all on the next mom video. Bye.